Tom Hiddleston, lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you.
People are so excited to see Loki now. They know the character, they love the character. Does that bring up pressure? Does it make it easier? Talk about that.
Good question. I'd say the first thing to say about it is it's such a privilege to come back around and play the same character again, because it so rarely happens in an actor's life. Mostly you read a script and you build a character and you fall in love with it and you play it out in the game, and then the film finishes and it's over and you get on with your life, and to come back and play him twice, 3 times is amazing. Specifically when there is a sense that the character's been taken to the heart of the audience, that somehow he's ignited a curiosity or an engagement or an affection, and to come back to the second bit of your question, it's true that there's a self-applied pressure of really wanting to keep it fresh and not to take that affection for granted at all, and really think about continuity of the character and be better and be more complicated and more interesting and more entertaining, so yeah, it's a wonderful position to occupy.
Yeah. You've been touring the world.
I have.
Promoting the film.
Yeah.
And you get to actually meet the fans, interact with them, and get a sense of their experience.
Yeah.
What's it like meeting the people who love the film?
It's just so touching, actually, because the energy is so generous and very enthusiastic. Thus far, I went to Sydney in Australia and Beijing in China and Seoul in South Korea, and everywhere I went, there was just an outpouring of love for Loki, and it's very, very gratifying, because as an actor, you can't call yourself an actor without an audience, and there they are. I'm a British actor. I'm from London. I was born here. I trained here. I started in my very first job was in a theatre above a pub in Clapham, and one man and his dog came to see it, and now I can go to Beijing and find people who connect with my work, and it's an amazing honour.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Just talk about the progress of the character between the first film, then the Avengers, and then this. We're going to see some different elements of him here, aren't we?
Yeah. I'd say Kenneth Branagh and I created a Loki who was a fallen prince. He was sort of had a very delicate and sensitive psychology, who sort of through the process of discovering some hard truths about himself became a villain. Joss Whedon wrote a elegant and charming psychopath, someone who was the big bad of the Avengers film, and Alan Taylor has constructed an anti-hero, and I think I loved playing that, because Thor is the hero, Malekith is the villain, and Loki is this unpredictable firework, and you don't know which direction he's going to go in, and I liked being the unpredictable element of the film.
Fantastic, and that unpredictability comes through in your scenes with Chris fantastically. Yeah. The two of you have this dynamic that is a huge part of why people come to see these films, I think. Do you slip back into it easily?
Yeah. He's one of my best friends and one of the greatest scene partners I've ever worked with. I think I don't know where it's one of those it's very hard to put my finger on why or how. Why does anyone get on with someone else? It's just an instinct. It's a sort of a common spirit, a common sense of humour, a common connection and commitment, and I can trace it back to the first time we met. We met at Kenneth Branagh's house, and we were both in our late 20s. We've been kicking around for a while, and recognised this amazing opportunity to play these huge characters. And the journey has been such a ride. Yeah, we got on very well, and it's strange to think we grew up on different sides of the world, and yet we have so much in common.
Fantastic. Just talk about the environment Alan Taylor put you in for this film, because it's extraordinarily grand and there's a lot of CG, but then it feels very real and tangible, particularly the scenes that are on alien planets in the Nine Realms.
Yeah. I think, it's important when you're telling a big, epic story that is sort of is part mythology, part space opera, part superhero movie. It's really important to ground it. Like otherwise the film kind of runs away from itself. And the things that have really rooted the story, I think, are really simple family dynamics: brother and brother, father and son, mother and son, star-crossed lovers, and a healthy sprinkling of light relief and a sense of humour. So I think Alan worked really hard on that, and also making sure that there were big practical sets that we could work with and exterior locations. That we went to Iceland for 2 weeks, which was incredible to shoot there, and also the home of these characters. You can walk down the street in Reykjavik and people are still called Thor.
Fantastic. Obviously, when you're making these scenes, you don't really have an idea of how it's going to look. Although you've got a lot of experience with these kind of films. Just talk about your reaction to the movie when you first kind of put the 3D glasses on and sat down and let it jump out the screen at you.
It's thrilling, because when you're on set, you're surrounded by a cyclorama of green screen, and you're not traveling through space, and the explosions are non-existent, and the spaceships don't fly, and so everything in your performance it has to be kind of cooked up by your imagination, and you do your best, like, because the camera's rolling and they need a response, like a spontaneous response to something that's happening externally, and yet you have nothing. It's almost like being a child again and playing cowboys and Indians in your garden. And the thrill of watching it back is when you see your response married to space and the stars and the spaceships fly and the explosions are fantastic. So it's really fun.